Hi, Anirudh here, and today I'm actually going to talk to you about the RFP Scout Agent. So RFP actually is like request for proposal. It's actually a pretty important part of the sales closure in the flow when you're actually trying to convert a customer from a procurement deal to actually a closure deal. What we're going to actually talk about is, it takes a lot of time to actually put this deal together. And what if there was an agentic way of doing it? So I'm going to show you what the flow looks like if I brought a bunch of agents for each part of it that were highly modular. And then there's an RFP that's being created by connecting to multiple tools. So let's get into it. So what you're seeing on my screen is the RFP Scout Agent, right? So this is the entire flow that's there end to end. And what you'll see here is I have on the left just input that can come in from RFP documents from different places, right? So it can come from email, it can come from web forms, it can come from portals, and from messaging, right? So if I have to create an RFP, I usually end up going back and forth with a customer or a potential customer. So what you have, first of all, is an email handling agent. What it does is it pulls all the PDFs, different information, maybe different metadata that's actually been available in these places and pass it to an email handling agent that structures all of this. Once that info is put together, it goes into the AI document ingestion agent. So what that AI document ingestion agent does essentially is it takes all that data, and you have a lot of unstructured data also that's available in the form of, let's say, images. So you have like OCRs that can scrape through all the information, convert all of that, ingest all of that, and then finally pass it through an AI RFP summary agent. Now that summary agent will make sure it's structured in a specific format for the RFP. So that's what's happening on the left-hand side, where it finally comes to the master issue resolver. So imagine this is like the central intelligence within the agentic system, where it's getting all the information together and it's processing, and then finally will give the output to a potential customer. Now once it comes to the master issue resolver, that content that has been created finally has to be matched or mapped with, let's say, RFPs that have been created in the past. So you have on the right-hand side 4 agents that are modular that all kind of come together and go into the master issue resolver. So first I have a CRM and project tool connector. So if there are any proposals that have already been created and they need to be updated in terms of dates and information, that information from, let's say, HubSpot or Salesforce can be passed on as APIs. If there are any historical tickets that have been created through the similarity search agent, they get pushed on to the master issue resolver. And then finally, I have a knowledge search agent that pulls our info from previous RFPs. And then you also have a drafting agent, which is essentially optional, which can tap into a RAG or an external LLM, pull info out, and then all 4 of them kind of coming together for the master issue resolver. Now, if you look at this, what it's essentially doing is there's a lot of these checks and balances to put in place and a human in loop in the middle here, where you can keep reviewing this content before it goes live. And then finally, the master issue resolver, once you're happy saying, this is exactly the RFP that I want, I can convert that into an RFP generator agent. Now that RFP generator agent, let's say, could be connected to a Gamma, could be connected to a presentation tool, or any format in the way that you want the proposal to be created. And finally, the proposal is created and it goes live. So this is essentially the full flow of an RFP Scout agent. But what if this had to be converted into a really nice agentic flow? So here I show you what the RFP writer exactly looks if it had a dashboard where you could look at all the RFPs that have come through which need to be qualified. Here it says there are 47 RFPs that are active, 32 are qualified, 15 are pending. RFPs that we've created for different departments. And then there's a tabular format of what are the RFPs, what's the title, what's the agency, what's the status of each. And then I can click on these and see the RFP itself. Then it shows me discovery sites. Here is where maybe the information is being pulled from. What are the qualifications, rules for government RFPs? For an RFP to be created, here's the contract value should be a certain value. These are some things you can customize and then finally filter on your end saying, this is the RFP I'm going to choose as a potential customer. And then there are different findings, and then there are settings that you can play around along with integrations, security, and settings. It helps you create proposals. It also helps you filter and pick which RFPs that you want to go with. And then you can essentially automate the entire process end to end using agents. If you're looking to bring this RFP agent or you want to customize it for your ecosystem, make sure the data is super private, deployed on your virtual private cloud, definitely reach out to us and we'll help you make this happen.
Build safe and responsible agents. Introducing Lyzr,